Welcome to Divorce Diaries show, guys. It's me, Michelle Trina, the creator of Divorce Diaries. I am back from being on the road, from a crazy additional weekend of a lot more gigs in Jersey, New York, and I have my voice back. I did not record an episode last week because I lost my voice, but it's back, and I am excited to talk to you guys again, the 5 listeners that I have on my podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling really in my feelings tonight. Not that I ever lie. I don't know why. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I do that. Okay, so I am trying to edit a clip from. So what you just heard, which is hopefully going to be on before you hear me say this. So what you just heard was a clip from my Santa Monica show in LA. What the fuck is wrong with me? This is how fucking in my emotions I am. I can't talk. The clip you just heard was from my Santa Monica show, which was sold out. Woo, 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 woo. And great crowd, both San Diego and Santa Monica. Pulled it out. I'm starting to really see my followers come through and come out, and it's great. I did not sell out San Diego, but we did do a good house. We did a nice house size for the show. And that clip that you heard was about this new guy that I have been like on and off talking to. I don't say dating because we didn't even get to the start line. And I'm not talking to him anymore as of today. And like for good. Really in my feelings about it, and I'm very upset. And I was hesitant to record tonight, but I didn't record last week, and I also deleted the last episode from my podcast because I talked about him, and I should have not deleted it. He didn't tell me to delete it or anything. I took it upon myself to delete it because he is a very private person and brought it to my attention that he does not want to be in any kind of public presence or platform. And I struggled with when he told me that because like we're already struggling with one issue about us being from these different religious backgrounds. And if you're just tuning in, this is like not a new boyfriend or anything like that. Not that I've had a boyfriend in the recent years. But this is a new guy that I met a couple months ago, like 2 months ago. He came to my show. I've said this before. He came to my show, popped up. I like to say that the divorce rabbi, like I said in that clip, fucking manifested it. I guess I need to be clear to God. Like, yes, we want this type of guy, but he also wants to be willing to be in a relationship with me, regardless if I eat a Big Mac, follow Jesus, wear underwear, or do stand up comedy. So I guess we should clarify that to God, Jesus, whoever I'm supposed to call it now. I'm just all confused in my life right now. So I really, really did like him. He was a little different than the other guys I guess I usually am into, which are these big Hispanic men or got this Latin charm. I like a Latin men. I talk about that in my stand up. But, again, going back to what I always say is I feel like in the last 7 years, if not even throughout my life, even my ex-husband, I feel like these men come in the same, they come in different costumes, but they come with the same conflict. They can't be with me, or I have to shift something about myself in order for them to be with me. Even in my marriage, when I met my ex-husband, I was acting full-time, and he never said to quit, but he made me feel like I should shift something because it would make him uncomfortable. He did a couple of things in my early on in my relationship that made me feel like I needed to change, which was my own stupidity, not his at all. But so this guy and I, yeah, we definitely connected and had chemistry. And I had said twice, I think, throughout the time that we were talking, like, if you can't figure it, like, he brought it to my attention with the religious backgrounds, mostly because he practices. He's very, very much practicing his faith. And I practice my faith as well, but we're coming from two different backgrounds. And I'm actually very nervous to even talk about this right now because when I had the conversation with him about talking about him through my podcast and stand up, he brought up a lot of other stuff that I was like, wait, now there's this. And I had no voice when I was talking to him, and I wanted to talk to him about it, but it was like, I don't know. My brain was so shot last week, and I was like, final. And we weren't talking because I told him to stop talking to me, and then we did talk because one of his friends came to the show, and I thought it was really sweet. And then we had a conversation, like, can we meet? Sure, let's meet up. And this whole fucking thing. So now I'm nervous to talk about it, but I don't feel like it's authentic to who I am and what I'm doing with my business and my work to not talk about it. Of course, I don't mention names of these men or anybody in my life. But this really took a toll on me in both a positive and a negative way in the last 2 months. Of course, I want to open myself up to new experiences and new men that could be lovers and partners, really partners, because I don't want a fucking just a lover. I can't handle that. In fact, I will probably just handle it with my one ex boyfriend who was a cop. That is probably the only person I can handle it with, because it's been so long. Like, he was the last guy I slept with, and it was months ago, and like it was just it's okay. I'm veering off task. I'll go back to that in a second. I can't do just lovers. I need to have a relationship, and I've struggled in the last 7 years, since I was married, finding the right partner for me. And there's always this common thread where, they think they come. It's not like these guys come saying like, "Oh, I just want to fuck you." No, they come bearing gifts. Like I think I was trying to explain this to him. It's not like these other guys just came going, "I want to fuck you, bitch," and leave you. No, 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 no. They came doing the same similar things that he's doing, that he did. Being nice, being sweet, being sensitive, saying the right things. Maybe like the first couple, like the first guy, the cop wasn't. No, he was kind of sweet too, but they then turn it around and then present the issue, which is they can't commit. And they present the issue being, I can't commit because this is too intense, or I can't commit because of my wife, or I can't commit because of work, or I can't commit because I live in LA, those kinds of things. And I have had men who I had connected with, somebody from high school who was in a relationship who was hitting on me, and I was like, what are you doing? And I liked him too. I was like, what are you doing? You're in a relationship. Like, what are you fucking doing? He's like, I have to figure myself out. You're right. I think you're so great. We have chemistry. Let me figure myself out. And then like 2 months go by, I don't hear from him. And he's like, yeah, I worked out with my girlfriend. What? So I'm tired of being the emotional support dog for people. Like, I get, like, it's not just, I just want to fuck her. These men that I am attracted to, that are attracted to me too, like that I have a quote unquote connection with, it's always like I'm this emotional support dog for them. And I've talked about this before, and I don't know if it was really like this guy may have been different, but his monologue, this inner monologue of not being able to date me, was the same as the rest of them. And I finally today was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And it was hard for me to say that because I still had hope in the back of my head that he would turn around and be like, no, I don't want to lose you. Yeah, right. The motherfucker turned around and said, yeah, I agree. Oh my God. And he not only said, yeah, I agree, he went on to say like nice things covered in, I can't give you what you need. Oh, come on. You didn't even need to say that. You don't need to throw salt on the fucking wound, first of all. And second of all, I hate that when men say that. I hate in general when men say, I can't give you what you need. First of all, speaking as a woman and you speaking as a man, no, you're right. You can never give a woman what you need, because you can't fucking turn your dick into a vibrator, and you don't give birth. So you can never give us women what we really motherfucking need, which is help. That's a new bit I'm working on. Now, I know the guy's coming not from like a hateful place and saying stuff like that, but, and plus he said like a bunch of other nice things, but like I don't hear those nice things anymore. He got me a couple gifts for my birthday, and like I guess I'm skipping all over the place. We ended up seeing each other this weekend, and it was very lovely. But within 5 minutes of me leaving, it became not good. And it was like it ruined the entire feelings I had. And because he brought it up again. And I told him last week when we spoke, why don't we just take it slow, and down the road we can bring up religion. But for him, it's got to be like right now. I don't even know if I would consider this past Saturday night, a date, because it was after I worked and he made me dinner at his house, and I stayed over because it was late, and it wasn't supposed to be anything inappropriate because I said, I was like, I'm just afraid to drive home because it's late and it's a 2.5, it was an hour and a half drive. So it didn't get to any level of, we didn't have sex or anything like that, but it was a really nice physical it was probably, I have not had foreplay like that in a long time. And it was great. But I didn't even I didn't touch, like, I could feel that if I touched, like, if I started to have like a little bit of alarms going off, even though I was feeling really good. I was like, oh, maybe I made a big mistake in staying over because now he's probably getting mixed signals, even though he knew what my brain was. Like, he was very, very gentleman-like in the sense of like, no, I'm not going to push it. But like, it was very hard for both of us, I feel like, to not touch each other. So, and I really even wasn't, I just felt like if I touch him, then it's signaling that it's okay. But like his hands on me and all, it was so fucking good. It felt so amazing. And I have been longing for that kind of touch from a man that like knows how to touch my body and just listens to me, and not even going past like second base. That's what I'm saying. Like this didn't even go to third base. Okay. This was really good foreplay. And I felt even before this that him and I would have this. And you know why I knew we were going to have good physical chemistry? Because there's a fucking problem with him committing to me. I knew it. I was like, well, the chemistry is going to probably be really good. And I don't even want to say commitment, like he's got to fucking marry me. This is just like, let's date each other. He can't even do that because I don't practice this lifestyle, and I don't even know really what all of it is. Willing to learn. I was willing to learn and practice whenever I could with him, but like still there's a problem. And he tried to explain it about like God and the relationship with God and interconnectedness, and I was getting really lost and confused and aggravated because number one, I am working my ass off and trying to juggle that with my daughter, keeping my house clean, which is a mess right now, and my finances. And I just want to enjoy somebody and date them. And I don't want it to be complicated. And he was making it extremely complicated. And I don't know how he would not make it complicated with somebody else. That's where the other thing was bothering me. I was like, are you doing this with every woman? Because I don't want to put that down on him, but it was like this whole thing was making me feel so shitty, and it's and he basically was like, well, that's why, like, I don't want to keep making you feel shitty, but I can't be the only person that he's done this with because this is insanity. I also I don't know if I'm skipping around here, but the positives with him were that I felt like I was finally meeting somebody who was like my equal with being sensitive and being attentive and being thoughtful, and a little bit of neuroses. Although it's probably not good that we both are neurotic, because that's not going to be good at all. And I just felt like we were connecting on a level that was nice, and I could feel really comfortable with my own skin, but at the same time not comfortable within my own skin, because then I have to, you know, I talk about my life on my show and my material and in my podcast, in my brand. That's like always who I've been. I love creating for my life. That's why I became an actor. My mom has an issue with it too right now, by the way. My mom has an issue with the fact that I brought up my twin on one of the episodes, which I'm not going to do anymore, except for this moment in time. And then I had an argument with her about it. And it's like, my father, who is passed a couple, almost 2 years now, always taught me to live my life was like, fuck what people think, be you. And I have felt so comfortable in my own skin in the last 3 years, more so than ever, being who I am, especially when I left teaching full time, because I could really just put everything out there about who I am, because I like helping other people through my craft and by putting myself out there. Now, does that mean that my daughter's not going to have a problem with it later down the road? She might. Does that mean my ex-husband might have a problem with it at some point? He might. But I guess I'm taking a risk, and just sharing who I am wholeheartedly and honestly. But this guy did have an issue with that too. And, I was confused. I was trying to band-aid everything up and just like, let's just meet up and see, because in my brain, I felt like we're going to meet and we're going to have more chemistry. And deep down I knew, and it's still going to be an issue for him, because in the past, this has always happened with the last guy, with the producer who lived in LA. I knew if we met in person, when we met in person, there was going to be fireworks. There were. It was going to be amazing. It was. He still was going to have a problem, and he did. And same thing with this guy. It was disappointing because I was like, even after we're still connecting, you're still fucking having a problem with it, which is his problem, not mine. But it's a bummer, And I keep asking God, like, why am I only attracted to these men that have major fucking issues with being with me? And like, no matter how much they say what a great woman I am, and how, like he said something about it doesn't change how special I am. Come on, really? It does change how special I am, because I'm not special enough for you to get the fuck off your ass and figure it out. I'm sorry. It's fucking annoying. No woman wants to fucking hear this shit. What if I said to you, why the fuck, like, are you, I don't even know where I would say, but like, it'd be like me nitpicking something with him. And it's like, I don't understand. You saw what I did. You came to my show. You liked me to connect enough. And, but I think a lot of the times this is what happens with these men that I like, that these men, I should say, that I have a connection with. They're really awestruck by me at first, and then they go on, like the producer guy, that he said this to me. He was like, oh, you're so self-expressed, you're so self-expressed. He would go on and on about it in the very beginning, how he was so amazed by me. And then by the end of our relationship, he fucking like told me how I was a victim. I played this. And I, was scared with this guy. I was like, oh my God, I would never want that to happen with him because he's such a sweet, gentle guy. What if that turned into a completely thing like the producer guy? Which is why today I was like, I have to tell him I don't want to talk to him anymore, which was breaking my heart, because everything was breaking my heart, because I do want to talk to him. I really like him, but talking to him is going to get me nowhere except disappointment, hurt, frustration, angry, aggravated, lose my temper. I don't want that. And I had said, like, at one point I was like, we should just be friends, forget it. He's like, oh, I didn't think that was an option. And I'm like, well, it's not. I'm just saying that because I don't know how else to band-aid this or say it so that I don't feel depressed inside. And depressed is a strong word. And I don't, I'm not depressed, but to feel like depressiveness, like sadness, melancholy, because you connect with somebody again and the same shit happens. It's tolling. It is tolling. And that is why I do comedy about it, because that is the part of my life that's a fucking light, that's a shining bright star with these moments that are challenging, that are rough. So I hope this comes out okay. And not that I hope, I know this will come out okay, because of how I'm trying to share with whoever's listening out there that the jokes I make on stage are part of my healing as a human and my growth. And when I decided to be an actor at freaking 16, when I was going to go to college for it, I was like, I want to help people and I want to share, by storytelling, right? That was my whole thing. Especially like when I became a teacher too, I was like, I can still act, but in a classroom with kids and help them. And then when I did comedy, I was like, wow, I can really help people through my own divorce stories too. Like the shit that I feel pain for, people can connect to. And it's this guy, I think, understands that, but he was so nervous all of a sudden about other people, like his own. I think he was even nervous about, like I just kind of said, it was a really good foreplay. I think he was nervous about that, but you know what? We're never going to talk again. So I don't. No one's. I don't mention names, and I don't. No, and this whole platform is not for me to ruin somebody. It's for me to share how I'm going through something and help somebody else. He bought me a gift that he gave me too, that was a really expensive gift for my birthday, and that confused me too, because I was like, why would you do that for someone you just really want to be friends with? I wish I could understand where he's coming from with the religious practices. I feel like I was on my bed earlier today crying because and I'm not saying that to feel pity for me, but just I need to cry because it helps get out the feeling. It's like almost like when you throw up kind of thing. And I was just like, God, I really enjoyed that moment of sensuality and talking and seeing pictures of his family and just those kinds of things. And it sucks because it's like, I can't be a part of that. And like, he should be feeling the same way about me, that he can't be a part of my life. Which I struggle with. It's like, now, so this whole thing has to be in his court, which is why I wanted to say today, like, I struggle with the fear. I struggle with getting rejected by men. I really hate that. I hate it. It makes me very upset and makes me feel very low about myself. And this is another rejection. And it's like, but I'm not, like, I keep telling myself, but like, I'm rejecting him, because even if he came over to me, but then I'm like, why does it even matter who's rejecting who? Like, I think that it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I said to myself, if you continue this, you're going to get further hurt. You're going to feel even lower about yourself, because he's going to be like, I can't do this anymore. So that's why this morning I was like, just say it flat out. I left him a voice recording yesterday and then I deleted it. But I was like, I slept on it and I was like, I cannot talk to you anymore. And the petty Michelle in my head was annoyed, because even in his message, he was like, I can't give you what you need. I'm like, don't say those things. You've already made me feel bad enough. Just fucking leave me alone and cry about me, and then I'll feel better. If you cry about me and you are mourning the loss of Michelle M. Traina, then I will feel good inside. No, that sounds really bad. But let's be real, ladies, men. We do want people to feel the pain that we're feeling, because it sucks. Not that we want, no, let me say that again. Not that we want them to feel pain, but this whole situation frustrated me. And I was trying to be stern about my boundaries. And I still think I was. I think that this was like the last scenario. Like, we didn't really, this was the second time we saw each other, third time we saw each other in person. And if this continued further down the road, I would have really smacked myself, which I really hope I stick with, because it's a universe. I don't know why the universe, God, is sending me this same kind of message. Clearly it's because I'm not learning it, or they want me to create from it, or it's just a sign that the one for me is coming. Like, these things keep happening where it's even better than the last guy, kind of thing. Like, oh, he is even like, the producer guy was, I thought, very vulnerable and sweet and like really attentive to me, but this guy was even more so, and sensitive, and like always willing to talk to me in a way that was like nurturing. And I haven't really had that. So I was like, oh, well, maybe the next one is really going to hit it. But then I just was crying before, going, please, I cannot take this roller coaster of up and down and then throwing me off. I can't take it anymore. It's really breaking me down. Like, it breaks me down to a point where I can't focus as much. I don't focus great when this happens. Hence why I have a show about the men I date, kind of thing, because at least it's monetizing off my therapy needs. But it's hard. The shows went well, though, and the irony of all of this is that I'm getting booked more. I just need to make some more money. That's what I really need, to make some more money, and I'm working hard at getting my savings back with just my craft. And I got booked this weekend. I was booked in a job already this weekend, and then I got booked last minute on Saturday night. And I was super excited. I was at the Barnum Ballroom Friday night, and then I was hosting at Bananas Comedy Club Saturday night. Such great shows. And I felt good. So I feel like the craft part is working. I just have to, my concern is that this is going to throw me off, and I'm going to like be lying in my bed tomorrow, like not wanting to get up, because and I don't say that because of like, oh, I'm getting depressed. No, I'm saying that because emotionally, when I connect with somebody and then I feel them and I'm around them, and there's great feelings there, and then there's the down of like, I can't do this because this disappointment hits me in a way that's it tears at my soul. And not to sound over dramatic, but it does. It really rips at my soul. And as much as people say you can't take it personal, that it's not you, it's them, it always feels like it's me. It really does. And I don't know how to fix that, like I don't know what else to do to fix it. I guess I can't. I guess this is just maybe my path, that I'm going to keep meeting these men that are so awestruck by me, but so awestruck to not fucking be with me too. um, and the other thing was I kind of wanted to share. I know we're going to go into a little bit of a darker road in a second, but I've had a lot of I don't want to say trauma because I guess it's trauma, but there's my own baggage that I bring to the table that does affect the way I interpret everything. And that might be a reason why it hits me hard when these disappointments happen. All right, so we're gonna get a little deep right now. When I was in college, I think I'd shared this before on my podcast. Uh, I didn't tell this guy that, but I would have told him more had we gotten to the next phase of intimacy, because it's important. I have a definite issue with abandonment with men with sex, because my first experience with sex was I don't hate saying the term, but it's like what it was, I guess. And uh so I was like date raped in college, and I always like hate saying it because I'm like, but it was my good friend's brother, and we were at a football party, and like I had hooked up with him before, but I was still a virgin, and he knew it, and I thought he remembered. He didn't. He fucked me. It was a whole thing. I was wasted, and I didn't know until afterwards because he asked me if I was in birth control. And so it was like a mess, and I had to go to Planned Parenthood the next day. I was crying. I mean, and in at Planned Parenthood is when the doctor was like, do you feel like this was rape? Because I explained everything to her, and she's like, I was like, no, it was my best friend's brother. She goes, yeah, but this is what happens. Like, these are the scenarios that are exactly what you're expressing. And I refused it, to hear that. I was so nervous for a month that I was pregnant. That was the whole concern. Because he didn't use a condom and all that stuff. So it was a mess. And I then was out of the weeds. I wasn't pregnant, and let it go. This guy is now a special ed teacher with 2 kids. He's been a superhero on NBC News. He like delivered his son in their house. Like, I'll never forget that. I saw that. I'm like, oh, is that funny? So interesting. Anyway, he and I don't think this guy is like a demon or anything. I do think that what happened was a really horrific. I think what happened was very traumatic for me. I don't think he's a demon. I had a long history. I had a long time before I could not see him as a demon, but I don't think he is. I think that it was unfortunate that that situation happened, but it left me feeling very alone, very scared, very abandoned, and isolated, just horrible. And I didn't want to be touched. And every time I think after that, when I did hook up with a guy, I was very like scared that I was going to forget or not realize I was having sex. So there was a lot of issues like that. And then I didn't have sex again. So I was 19. And then I didn't have sex again till I was with my ex-husband. I was 23. So it was a long time in between. I mean, I was with guys, but not like I was kissing or making out, nothing majorly past third base ish. But like oral sex, none of that. I never gave a guy a blowjob until I met my ex-husband. So because I just didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, I had a lot of I was just very nervous about a lot of things. And I am a very sexual person, but that time frame in my life was really hard after that happened. And I guess a lot of the issues from that kind of thing with men, and I really liked that guy too. I liked him before the whole rape thing happened. I really liked him, and I felt like maybe that issue was like I could never get him, but like he fucked me. And then when I met my ex-husband, we had a bit of an issue. He didn't tell me, but he passed an STD to me, and I didn't know, and he told me afterwards, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I had to deal with that, and I stayed with him because at the time I loved him, and I just dealt with it, and that was it. And but it was like it was literally like the whole thing was happening again in my head when he told me, and I was like, what? And I literally, this had been like, I waited to have sex with him too for months after we were dating. I went away and did a show, came back, and he told me like it was just, it was a mess. I was like, are you kidding me? You should have told me that when we had to, when we were intimate. And then, it left me feeling like I loved him and I felt bad but like at the same, like, but I felt mad and I was angry and I was like, what? So, but I stayed with him, and we got through that. But, and I don't regret staying with him because, you know, we have a daughter and we did have love, but that was traumatic too. um, I, it was traumatic. I was in a bad place for a long time from it. And, I also feel like there was points where I just shifted a lot of myself. It was so I guess I'm saying this in the podcast world, whoever's listening, is because um I don't know if those issues are following me now. Maybe they are. Definitely I don't like, and that was the other thing is like I need to trust my partner, and I did trust this. I have trusted the majority of them that I've slept with. Like I've only slept with like 10 guys, and the last guy that I slept with, the producer, well, actually it was the cop. So, but he was a repeat. I did trust all of them, but then after I'd have sex, like I would be like, so what are we, who are we like I was dating the cop. So I knew we were dating, but, there was, then there was the coach who was married, but we stayed together for a year and a half. I don't know why I thought that was a relationship. Like, why in my brain would I do that? And then there was the producer, um, who, the few in between were just like, I personally didn't think there was sexual chemistry, and we were dating for a little bit and it was like, nah. But the producer and had really good chemistry, and he knew everything. I shared everything with, I mean, they shared everything with all of them, but, with the producer, like I really thought he saw me in a deeper level, and that was false, because when he told me he just wanted to be friends with benefits, it like shook my world. So anyway, with this guy, I did trust. With this new guy, if we were to go into the intimacy level, had to have at least like we're dating. Like I couldn't go forward unless he said, yeah, I'm dating you, that's it, we're exclusively dating, or there's no, not that we have to go through this label, but like I'm only dating you and I want to go further with you. That because to me, I keep forgetting that I have to, there's the abandonment thing, and or trust issues. Like you can say all you want to me that you're just focusing on me. I don't know if I really, there's a 50% chance that you're lying. I hate to say that this guy was lying, but there was a small part of me, when I was with him, that was like, is he just doing all this to see how far I'd go? Because most of the time, this is what they do. Men do. The men that I feel for do. They do it in all different ways. And I felt stuck with the producer, because at first I really did believe he really liked me. And then when I got home from LA, I was like, oh, he did this because I live far away. And I was like shook from the whole thing. And, I think there's a little bit that he did like me, but, the other part of me was like, oh, perfect for him, because he doesn't have to deal with me at all, because I live 3,000 miles away. And then like with this new guy, I started to have like alarms going off in my head when we were, just kind of snuggling and massaging, I guess you'd say. But not massaging in, like I said, not massaging in a third base way. Oh, it was pretty fucking hot. Let me tell you, I have not felt that way when someone's like kissed on me like, I don't think my body is not twitched like that just from a kiss. So that was pretty hot. But that's another disappointing part, because it's like, oh, that's what I fucking need in my life. I need that. I think I was also crying. Like when I was, upset before, I was like, I need that. It's like you need coffee, and it's like, how much longer am I going to have to wait for that? And then I said to myself, you need to turn that around into, but I have all these other things that can replace that. And I do, because I have all these things with my work and with my daughter that can replace this sensuality of a fucking twitch. I know I'm downplaying that, but like I do need it and I do want it. I don't want to not have it in my life. So I was definitely bummed by the whole thing, and I'm frustrated and I'm angry because I just kind of want to shake him and be like, "You're being a fucking idiot," or someone else to tell him that. Like, can his therapist be like, "You're a fucking moron. What are you doing? Get your fucking balls from the ground and go call her up and beg her for forgiveness and take her out for a fucking fancy dinner, vegan, non-vegan, whatever you want to do." So that is what's going on. um, yeah. So I am doing my upcoming shows in Chicago, and we're taping it for a live stream. We're taping it for a live stream. Okay, that didn't make any sense, Michelle. I am doing a live taping of Divorce Diaries for a streaming platform this no this Michelle this November. It is November 11/26 in Chicago, and I need tickets to go up. Tickets are low. Tickets are high, tickets are low. Tickets are low. I need more seats to be filled, so I'm really hoping this week I can get my brain fucking screwed on right, and sell tickets. And I also am going to be at Governor's Comedy Club December 2nd. And I'm going to be at the West Side Improv New Year's Eve for Divorce Diary Special Edition New Year's Eve, baby, in Wheaton, Illinois. And then back at the Comedy Dojo in January. So go get your holiday gift for somebody for a divorce day or just for you. You can buy a ticket on divorcediaryshow.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. It feels good to be back on the podcast, and I hope you keep living your happily divorced after. I'm Michelle Trina, and this is Divorce Diaries.